There we go. Hello all. Where's the music? Let's drop the beat. Update, please. There we go. Nice. DMCA free, please. There we go.
They definitely gonna have to play this back.
Okay, how's that?
They definitely gonna have to play this back.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
There we go. I think that's good. And dot.
I wanna make the beast on
Okay,
rap,
now
rap. Don't make me
that's a
go
bit
grab the
loud
pad,
according
pen and
to
pad. If I hop on the
Launch
cue, you know it's
specs.
slap. I don't put it out if it ain't gas.
Okay.
Concentration, motivation, got me
So that's better.
focused. Man, I thought you'd already know this. I can spit to that.
So I need this end.
We were sleeping till the day somebody woke us.
Okay.
Eyes open, can you see me? I remember the day
There we
I
go.
wanted to go show up on the TV. Now I know the truth. Hop
That's
inside the
what I
door, tell
need.
you it won't be easy. Support my movement when you hear it on the CD.
Okay.
Going in the wrong direction. When we show them, they don't listen.
Ouch.
The higher frequency is what they missing. In the
Other
afterlife,
one?
we'll be kissing. Death won't ever do us part. It'll only do us distance. Apply
So,
yourself. Find
yeah.
your balance, they go find your wealth. Stack it up to design yourself. My name is Aham.
There we go.
I is will. The introduction is just how I feel. Been through the dirt and I smile still. When I grow up, I wanna be a wise guy. Support and come from my family from sky high. You must be trash if you can't finish the track. I present the fact. Aham, I'll handle that. That's why. I wanna make the beast, don't make me rap. Don't make me go and grab the pen and pad. If I hop on the keys, you know it's slap. I don't put it out if it ain't gas. Concentration, motivation, got me focused. Man, I thought you'd already know this. I can spit too, that's the reason that I wrote this. We were sleeping till the day somebody woke us. I don't wanna be a rapper, it's not the life that I chose. I wanna make beats, create waves of emotional flows. Positive, not negative, run like a battery though. Got melody sticking to you like it is static on clothes. Reminiscing about the good times in the 90s before. And getting ready for the future cause we know what's in store. Nowadays everybody posted pics on Instagram, but I remember kicking back with Nickelodeon. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. I got fake friends and they showing fake love to my ear. I'm trying to drive my life, now everybody wanna steer. 2020 near and still don't know why we're here. Y'all sold out. I've been taking pictures for the clout. I need the rack so I could buy a house. You sitting on the couch, I'm trying to make a change. Switching lanes, no games, yeah, remember the Aham's the name. Aham, spitting with the prodigy, a lot to see, showing our mentalities and exposing the enemies. We'll lend you these thoughts and plant beauty and chant to see that grows inside your brain and sprouts jack in the stalking bean. Concentration, motivation got me focused. Man, I thought you'd already know.
Okay, there we go.
I can spit too, that's the reason I devote this.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
I thought I wiped off the table. Okay.
Meet James. He is ZipRecruiter to find a better job.
When you have a family, you kind of look at your professional dreams through that lens. You want to take that step up. ZipRecruiter put me in front of the people that I wanted to get in front of. And
Okay,
I felt like there was someone
there we go.
watching my resume and letting me know, hey, this is actually working. I get to work from home 3 days a week. It was the job that I deserved but didn't think was out there.
What job will ZipRecruiter help you discover? Find out at ziprecruiter.com.
You don't need to get personal, like revealing you eat eggs with a shell on. To get the State Farm personal price plan, just call or go to statefarm.com for a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Little nightmares.
Look around this car
Nightmares
and think
do.
of all the hot, crispy McDonald's fries that have slipped out of your fingers after you couldn't resist grabbing them. Thank you, Fallen Fries. Give your fingers another chance ordering ahead on the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Mobile order and pay at participating McDonald's.
Sip vitamin water Gutsy and nourish every going for it you. Whoops, never mind you. Shameless you. Extra cautious you.
No risk, no reward, you.
Vitamin water. Nourish every you. Vitamin water is a registered trademark of Bless Up.
Uber Reserve presents how to prep for a first date. Step 1, have a shaving accident. Step 2, fix it. Step 3, keep your cool because you booked your ride ahead with Uber Reserve. Uber Reserve, get your ride right. See app for details.
In the name of positivity, I do this verse for y'all. Yeah.
Man, I thought you
Oh,
already
yeah.
knew this.
Had a bad day, but you see, I ain't give up yet. Flipped and made a song about it, and it's due by sunset. I'm feeling about a 40 and always keep it 100. I do this for the legacy money, yeah, I just won it. Dark clouds are all I can see. The world won't let me succeed. Everyone talking to me, and they just won't let me breathe. I got the world in my hands, no, they just don't understand. Slip through like water or sand. I gotta bounce back, rubber bands. I take life too serious, solo. I don't think that you're hearing this. Nope. I will cut you off if you preach it, but ain't living it. Disappointed, upset. Y'all ain't make me proud yet. Nope. We can do so much better. Need new public figures. R.I.P. to positivity. Can I get a GG? I'm trying to bring it back. Are you on the wave with me? This is not a story, it's more of a PSA. I don't rap, but today I had something to say. I had a bad day, and I had enough. Used to follow momentum to help myself up. Make my own beat, then you know I had to slay it. Piano's my controller, and this bad day's what I'm playing. I'm feeling better, I'm winning, I'm about to catch the dub. Escaping the bad vibes with the music in my blood. Can you feel the music flowing when you listen? I share a gift. I'm getting creative, this is something you won't wanna miss. Push play and reverse the bad energy. I know who is a friend of me. I have targeted the enemy. Next I'll deploy a sentry. I bless up like a halo. That's enough with the games though. I 1v1, you try and play though and hit you once with a
Yeah. What?
Had a bad day, but you see I ain't give up yet. Flipped and made a song about it, and it's due by sunset. I'm feeling about a 40 and always keep it 100. I do this for the legacy money, yeah, I just won it. Had a bad day, but you see I ain't give up yet. Flipped and made a song about it, and it's due by sunset. I'm feeling about a 40 and always keep it 100. I do this for the legacy money, yeah, I just won it. Talented, took everything I knew and then I balanced it. Alchemy is what it looks like since you all were doubting me. Had no fear for Aham is here to make your whole day, to make your whole year. Songs and be minded, that's passion you fear. Supporting my movement, that's food for your ear. My goal is influence to change the whole world. How can I do that without my fans here? You'll probably hear me say it a million times. Subscribe online and follow my grind. Yeah. Bless up, thank you. Had a bad day, but you see I ain't give up yet. Flipped and made a song about it, and it's due by sunset. I'm feeling about a 40 and always keep it 100. I do this for the
Man, I thought you already knew this.
It's your boy Test. Yeah, they definitely gonna have to play this back.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
I am Test, now you know. Don't ever try testing my flow. I'll eat the beat now or I'll take it to go. I'm the one who like signature 4/4. That's time. Every line is a bar. Lyricism out of space. Mars. Stick in your brain while it's fresh. Tar. Flow is foreign to the average car. Vroom, I'm taking off. You cannot find what is already lost. Try to copy and it comes with a cost. And the price to listen for now, nothing at all. It's free. How I'm spitting if you have perfect vision. Or with the prescription you see that I glisten and shine in the dark and I didn't even start. You couldn't handle a test if I showed how far I can go. You see, switch up flows. The talent is all there. You hear it loud and clear. Check it out. Light flowing in the ocean, are you looking in the sky? Playing the track is appealing to the ear and on the wire. You can hear it over and over and over and again.
And you still see something different that I did it with the pen. Gas, better pass it to your friend. Every time I rip in, I was whistling with my zen. Don't want to rap, want to make beats instead. Okay. Treating it like it's professional, hitting achievements and setting another goal. I am the one. And these triplets will knock for down like taking 5 pharmaceuticals each. Got switch flows for fun, like a dog with the bone. Once you get it, he's gone. Homie switching up, that's rough. They're shade, they ain't light, so we flicking them all. Don't switch the flow, switching to the third person. Finishes his verse, bring in the closed curtains. And how I'm a test, they will leave your brain hurting. They thought you knew this, play it back for certain. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I thought you already knew this.
I can go, you see, switch up flows. The talent is all there. You hear it loud and clear. Check it out. Yup. I can go, you see, switch up flows. The talent is all there. You hear it loud and clear.
I did it before and I didn't even know, so I could do it again, right? I think I'm focusing too much on the intro. You know what's for the bulls? Maybe I should just do the rap. It'll probably be okay. Alright, let's see. Yeah. First off, we just met. Your minds came in my stream and I was like, bet, getting some views cause that's what I do. My name is Aheim and I make beats, dude. Go to my Insta, you'll see that I rap. I'm live on Mixer, you'll see that I snap. Sitting in my robe, bringing myself from home. Cause the bull look, I'm drunk with the pillow on his neck. Chunkify got a pillow on his neck. I'm turning up on my stream like, yeah. Hitting trolls with positivity, are you digging me? Hash, know what's up, I support you, bro. Mixer.com/AYEEHIME. And you'll find me or my homies that I'm hosting. Yes, I'm lit. Fire emoji because it's a hit. This one's for clout, but I need it for a reason. I'll change the world like it's a new season. Summer the winter. I eat up beats and I'm starving for dinner. I take the L's cause I'm such a winner. Double my follows like I am James Miller. Double my follows like I am James Miller. Flipping the negative energy, use it for good like I'm Sir Gap T. You cannot follow me because it's only good vibes when you enter my stream. I bring the heat like a furnace. I open up, send it at you like Hadouken at you. I made the beat in a day. Went to bed, woke up and listened like what was I doing? Blocking myself from a hater. Building defenses like Frank in these 90s. Throwing myself into business. Won't catch me waiting for someone to sign me. You see I don't have a feature, just me.
Way stretched.
Mama Mia. I got the sauce in the dope. I'm chasing this cheese. Just call me a pizza. I'm lit. Fire emoji because it's a hit. This one's for clout, but I need it for a reason. I'll change the world like it's a new season. I eat up beats and I'm starving for dinner. I take the L's cause I'm such a winner. Double my follows like I am James Miller. Double my follows like I am Chunkify from a different country, UK, so it might sound funny. Catching up like a London rapper. If I'm trash, know the rapper's dope. And the product might be on the floor, but I'm picking it up. Double my follows, I'm getting it, bro. Clean balls like front to the top. Squeaky clean, one hand, move it the way you scrub. Rocking your head tells me the beat is tough. We are the best streamers out. We need more club, we are too underrated. Woo. Building ourselves like a house. I'm using steel so that no one can break it. They say the glass half full. We say we're filling it up. They say that life is a struggle. Using my brain like a muscle, I'm buff. It was nice meeting you, James Miller, aka Sir Gap Teeth, aka Junkify. What up, Connor? What up, Wades? What up, Ali? What up, Kaylin? Peace. Gang. Gang.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
There we go. Fun off the job.
A diss track on me? It took you 2 minutes and you didn't even say anything. I guess I'm gonna have to show you how to do it.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
I'm a producer, I don't even rap. If you go diss me, then hit me with slaps. Internet searching for MP3 files. Because you can't make me harder than album. My natural talent is what you were after. Bow down to me because I am your master. You are the king, the Burger King crown. Stay in your lane with the lo-fi sound. I know that you need a father. I slice you right open with my red lightsaber. You can call me Gayheim, call me a faker. Start being honest to you, I'm Darth Vader. I am your father. We corny diss track, you shouldn't have bothered. You ain't say jack, you wasted your time. I'ma say something with each of these lines. You lost your twin flame and you're sad every day. She's married to Jared, so what can you say? You speak like the devil, you totally changed. Original child, the soul was your name. You pulled a 180, preached about God first and said that you played and you ain't make yourself yet, but think you can make it. You don't have a motive, your envy is crazy. Wow. You went to college and got YouTube smarts. Graduated but can't make the beat hard. Follow the devil but beg God for mercy. That diss track will only end your career early. I sat back and laughed cause I was surprised. It sounds like you rushed it, I can tell that you tried. I know that for sure that you thought that was hard. If that track was gas and it was a fart. Your track was fired like smoking the cart and then dying because it was fake. The verse you did from Zach and Gordon, same goes for Dylan, so main. You can't keep up, couldn't eat the beat if my
Oh my. Look at all that.
Your album went nowhere, you're not number one. Rose and Matthias and Willie and Gordon, but don't forget Aheim and Tess. We'll shred you up and then go burn with his left. You're frontin' for Facebook, you front to your friends. You're at me and Jordan cause you're out with 10. It's probably you tripping up them pills again. Every time I rip it, I'm missing my zen. Don't make me go grab the pad and the pen, gang. Like, I hope you didn't think this was gonna come easy.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
Do you even know what you're doing?
Less. Much less.
Man, I thought you already knew this.
Wake up in the morning, everything is slow when I open up my eyes. One sip of water, 2 breaths of fresh air. Look to the east and I thank God I'm alive. Stop talking and walking and not taking advantage of the people that are so happy in my life. You feeling the vibe? I don't even try, yeah. I don't even tried, yeah. Look at myself in the mirror, so I'm looking at life through my own eyes. You can buy Gucci, it's ugly, I'm smart, I spend money. If it's dope, you know I buy. People be fried, spend the racks a little fly. Just like that when I wake up and breathe. 2020 hits my mind, I woke but you're blind. I can prove that I ain't lying. I made the beat, I made the rap, I cannot do more than that. Hop on the track and I snap. Give me a break, make it fast. I ate the speed up like breakfast. I've been officially tested, speaking the truth is so reckless. Let's go. Yeah. Lunchtime, so you know I had to get the beat cooking. My life is a one-way mirror, keep looking. I don't share secrets, I keep them within. My method, my motion, my logarithm. Come right the way before it's too late. Strangers will love me and homies will hate. The month is October and it's getting colder. For homie leaves, then they fall on the face. Yeah. If I'm getting cash, I'm stacking the money. If I'm getting love, it's sweeter than honey. I might cook a smile or anything funny. I'm the boss, I'm running my life. Executive, I ain't out here running around like a little kid. I gotta stay focused. I was in my studio, I was saving bread when I wrote this.
How am I verified?
Yeah. Let's go. I made the rap, I cannot do more than that. Hop on the track and I snap like a Kit Kat. Give me a break, make it fast. I ate the speed up like breakfast. I've been officially tested, speaking the truth is so reckless. Winner, chicken dinner. That's me. Vibe on this beat while I enter verse 3. The one up on shit, so I shoot for the stars. I'm making a wish, hope it's here by tomorrow. Positive thinking is what I promote. If you ain't with it, then go grab your coat. Don't curse on my lyrics, my mouth clear so. Be cautious of others, the world needs some hope. Yeah, that's all that I'm saying, and if you ain't with it, you must be a joke. I rise and I run with my growth on the slope. This energy movement is making me flow. Show love to my movement, you see that I do this. I'm selling the whips and I'm selling these beats. I grow with my team, I keep it a bean. Turn up to my song if you know what I mean. Yeah, I made the beat, I made the rap. I cannot do more than that. Hop on the track and I snap like a Kit Kat. Give me a break, make it fast.
It's Halloween. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
This Friday,
Michael's back, but this time he's more dangerous.
witness the final showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers.
It's your last Halloween, Michael.
Halloween ends in theaters and streaming only on Peacock Friday. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Tide presents Laundry Truths, Cold Hard Savings.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot? You know, washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill. $150? Go on. The lower the temp, the lower your bills. Simple. Plus, Tide Pods are designed for a powerful clean, even in cold. Wow, cool tip. Get it? Oh yeah, I get it.
Turn to cold and save with Tide. Energy savings based on average from switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Some believe cold weather means electric vehicles can't go the distance. This is the Monk. New models get about 200 miles per charge. So even with reduced range, this newsman is confident you'll get where you're going. DriveElectricVT.com.
Left, 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 right, left, right, left. Squad up. It don't matter where you been. It don't matter where you been. Modern Warfare is back again. Modern Warfare is back again. Drop on in, no time to waste. Drop on in, no time to waste. Fill up with the box, superheroes, no case. Fill up with the box, superheroes, no case. Squad up, bring it back. Squad up, bring it back. Got nothing to do, and that's a fact. Got nothing to do, and that's a fact. Avec l'équipe, on va débarquer. Avec l'équipe, on va débarquer. Go this second play, okay. Go this second play, okay. These badass ain't gonna bust your face. These badass ain't gonna bust your face. I swear this ain't my mommy's place. He swears this ain't his mommy's place. Rank it up on day 9. Rank it up on day 9. It's not a game, it's a way of life. It's not a game, it's a way of life. Squad up, squad up, back for more, back for more. Squad up. 1, 2, 3, go. Squad up, back for more.
Okay.
Man, I thought you already knew this. 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 Man, I thought you already knew this.
Oh my. Look at that.
Man, I thought you already knew this. Man, I thought you already knew this. Man, I thought you already knew this. Man, I thought you already knew this.
already knew this.
Greetings. My name is Wendy Wilton. I'm a resident of Milton, and I'm hosting this really brief show today to discuss the legal aspects of Proposition 5, Article 22, because as a citizen, I don't believe that the legislators who passed this article to change our Constitution have really discussed this with the public or made public all the rationale behind this constitutional amendment, which is very controversial. So I think it's really important that people hear about what the article is and what the impacts might be. So I brought with me today, as your host, I have a guest, Representative Ann Donahue, who's currently in the legislature. And
yeah,
she
that would
was
be a good
privy
idea.
to all of the testimony that happened about Proposition 5, Article 22. So welcome, Ann. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much.
You and I served together a long time ago. So I'm really happy that you're here to talk about this. And hopefully we can cover this ground in about a half hour and keep the audience attention while we do so. So I think the first thing that I'd really like to do is, do you have the wording of the proposition itself, or are we going to?
Yeah, I think we can put it up on the screen.
Okay. That would be great if we could see that, because I'd really like to read that to start this. We'll wait for our producer to come through.
There we go.
You might be able to read it better than me, because I don't have my glasses on.
Neither do I. I think it's pretty clear for folks on the screen, and it talks about individuals as
Actually, I think I have it right here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so what you see on the screen is, this is the proposition that an individual's right to personal reproductive autonomy is central to the liberty and dignity to determine one's own life course and shall not be denied or infringed unless justified by a compelling state interest achieved by the least restrictive means. Now, I have read this many, many times, and I go back to it once in a while and say, what does all of this mean? It's a run-on sentence that appears to me to be somewhat of a word salad. So I'm really confused about what this language means, but even more so, when you start thinking about it, you then start to think about what's the outcome of this. If this becomes an amendment to our state constitution, and courts are looking at this as they see various cases regarding reproductive liberty come to them, it's not just abortion in this constitutional amendment, what will happen? You heard a lot of testimony about this. So we'll get into the different aspects of it, but one thing that certainly comes to mind is this does not say abortion. And yet it's been sold as a pro-choice amendment. Now, I'm personally pro-choice. I think having safe, legal access to abortion in early pregnancy is something that I think the most Americans, including myself, agree to. I don't agree to late-term abortion, but there's no description in this amendment about early term versus late term. There's no definition here. So it is a little bit interesting that they've chosen this language. And the proponents often state that this proposal, Article 22, is merely codifies Roe v. Wade. I don't believe that that's the case. You want to comment?
Yeah, that's not the case at all. And I've heard that said a number of times. You know, actually, Roe v. Wade never introduced any protections for Vermonters or Vermont women because our own Supreme Court had already made a decision under our Constitution about reproductive liberty in terms of abortion. And the overturning of Roe v. Wade, therefore, had absolutely no impact on Vermont. So this idea that this is somehow needed because of Roe v. Wade is wrong to begin with. But beyond that, it doesn't remotely resemble the protections of Roe v. Wade. It goes far, far beyond. The focus really is on third-term abortion. And the reason I say that's the focus and the intent is two things. First of all, the proponents have said the intent is to codify Act 47. Act 47 is what we passed in 2019, saying no restrictions whatsoever at any point in pregnancy. That's what they want to put in the Constitution. And the only reason...
Then why doesn't the wording just say that?
Because they don't want it to be obvious, I think. I really think you look at that language and it's kind of feel good. I want my rights protected. I want my liberty interest protected. If you don't know what it's really about, if you don't know if it's about, that it's about third-term abortion and that that's what it is pointed at, because that's where government interests, many people believe, should come into the balance, that there becomes an interest when that baby could be viable if they're born or outside the womb. That's where, you know, the vast majority of Vermonters are pro-choice, like yourself. When they're asked,
but we don't agree with infanticide.
Well, the question that's always
abortion.
asked, the question that's always asked is, do you support all or most abortion? And there's a difference between all and most. And nationally, there have been very recent polls which say 90% of Americans, 87% of all likely California voters, California is not some big conservative state, do not support abortion up to the time of birth, which is what this would guarantee as a constitutional right. So I think you asked about the language, and I think that's a really good question because there are three really important pieces in that language for people to be aware of that break from Roe v. Wade, that really break from anything we've ever seen in a constitutional amendment before. The first one is the use of the term any individual. We're used to this long-time Roe v. Wade language around a woman and her doctor, decision between a woman and her doctor. This is any individual. This is giving reproductive rights on an equal level to men and children. Now, I really believe in equal rights for men and women. They shouldn't be different or distinct. But in this particular area, it's not something that's ever been discussed. It didn't get discussed in the legislature. What are the implications? Are we going to throw that into the Constitution before we even know what that might be and how it could potentially hurt women's rights? If there's a competing interest between two people with an equal right to the decision, which reproductive liberty includes, whether or not to have a child. So that's the first piece. The second piece, as you've pointed out, is it's not just about abortion. It doesn't reference abortion specifically. It's about this undefined term, reproductive autonomy. And Representative Ann Pugh, who's one of the lead sponsors in the House, was asked on a radio program, well, what does that mean? And she said, anybody can look it up in the dictionary. So I did. And there is no definition. You can find reproduction,
right,
which actually generally means when there is conception is the point of reproduction. You can look up autonomy. The only thing I could find under reproductive autonomy defining it was a statement in the Oxford definition of law that said there is a lot of differing opinions about what it means. So what does that mean on a practical level? You were asking about practical impact. It means, as a constitutional amendment, that the court will have to decide what that means.
And that will all depend on who is on the court.
That's right. And the irony is that people have been so upset that 9 people on the Supreme Court made this huge decision about reproductive rights, overturning Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs decision. And yet we, voting for this amendment, would be turning over every little decision to our 5-person Supreme Court and whoever happens to be on it.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
So there's a third really important piece that people get understandably very confused by, is this reference in the language to unless there's a compelling state interest, least restrictive means. Yeah. So what's interesting is that is actually language that the courts came up with to indicate that it is something when they are reviewing that this is such an important right that it's going to have the strictest of scrutiny. In other words, it's elevating it to be the most important in terms of various constitutional rights. Because it's court-developed language, it has never before and does not appear in any constitution in the country. Putting it into the Constitution as language that's attached to this right is telling the court they have to consider this one as the most critical one.
As primary.
As primary, because it's the only one where their hands are tied. They must use that strictest test.
Yes.
No other constitutional component or language tells the court this is the test, this strictest scrutiny test is the one you have to use.
I kind of thought that would be where that would end up. It's really interesting. You know, another thing I want to bring out, probably should have brought out at the beginning of the discussion, I'm so glad you're here, Ann, but I actually called my state senator, Ginny Lyons, to ask her if she would participate in an informational forum about the legal issues surrounding Prop 5 and Article 22. And when I first contacted her, she was agreeable. And I had a date, and it was plenty of dates, a couple weeks in the future of when we were planning to do this on this day. And at the very last minute, she backed out. And I had the same experience with Representative Ann Pugh, who you mentioned. Both of those legislators were the chairs of the committees of jurisdiction for this particular legislation and this amendment. And also, I read a recent letter to the editor in Vermont Daily Chronicle that a woman in Addison County had asked Senator Ruth Hardy to also attend an educational forum to discuss the proposal. And all of these people, one by one, have basically ghosted. They don't show up. I can't fit it in my schedule. If this was so important, why aren't they here? I mean, isn't that telling me as a consumer, as a constituent, that they cared enough to pass the thing, but they're scared about being out in public about their rationale for passing it? It worries me that they're not here to defend this language, which I find very problematic. And I also think that their inability to participate in these discussions says they don't care about people like me who are pro-choice, but yet we see that there's a problem with the extremist view, and we're concerned this language is going to go somewhere else. And that worries me also. Do you have a comment about that?
Yeah, I do. I think the reason's very clear. I think they feel if they're put on the spot with questions, that it will, the evidence will become clear about how far afield this is from what most Vermonters would want. What they are counting on, what the whole focus has been counting on, Vermonters are being put into a sort of no-win absolutist position. I agree. You have to choose this or this, but what they're being told the choice is, well, maybe you've heard that it'll include third trimester abortion, but you know, those rarely happen. You don't have to worry about that, because if you don't do this, we're at risk of losing all our rights. Look at what's happening around the country. Look at what's happening in Congress. And in fact, that momentum, people are afraid of that because they don't realize that their rights are not at risk. What's happening around the country has nothing to do with what's already in our Constitution. Right. And you know, the bottom line is if Congress did something that you would be very offended by, if they tried to put some kind of ban or limitation.
Correct.
That takes supremacy over Vermont's Constitution. So passing this wouldn't protect Vermont against something Congress might do. And what other states are doing are irrelevant, because Vermont has been so clear for so long that they protect women's rights, other than these very small potential areas of limits around third trimester abortion. Late abortions are already available to Vermonters under current law.
I know.
But not passing this would mean at some point in the future that one area might be something that Vermonters would say, actually, we want some limitations. We don't want elective third trimester abortions. And that's what would be taken away from Vermonters.
Right.
If
I mean,
this was
certainly
passed.
legislation, I was really hoping in 2019 they would come to a point where they would say abortion after 20 weeks or some period of time would be only under medical advice. It would be where the life of the mother was threatened.
Well, that
or
was
there
really
was a serious medical issue. You can understand there might be a circumstance like that.
Yeah.
But that should be decided in very rare, kinds of cases.
So what's important to know is that that was directly discussed, and amending it and making that exclusion was rejected by the majority of the legislature.
And that
which really
was not
indicates
good.
the intent of the constitutional amendment. When they say we just want to codify existing law, that's because the existing law allows for abortion up till the time of birth, and there's a radical extreme that wants that. That doesn't represent the majority of what Vermonters say they want, which is why it's so important for them to be aware of what it actually says.
Yeah. The more I look at this language, the more I really feel like there was no reason for this amendment or this proposition at all, that it wasn't needed. Number one, because of the long history you talked about in this state, plus everybody in the public, or not everybody, but many people think Roe v. Wade being overturned, quote unquote, meant that, they don't understand that it just went back to the states. So if your state was a pro-choice state, you could stay a pro-choice state.
And importantly, our state is a pro-choice state by interpretation of its constitution. So it's not even,
and that's news to me. So thank you for bringing that up.
It's not even as if the legislature could go and say, "Well, we've all changed. We've become radically conservative instead of quite liberal. We've all changed, and we want to ban abortion. We want to take significant rights away." They can't. That's already been decided in 1972. And what was interesting is Vermont has never in its history prohibited women from seeking abortions. Even in 1972, that was saying the law that punished doctors was unconstitutional because it became a barrier to women exercising their rights. So Vermont is very locked into this protection. The only thing really that this amendment does is bar the state from ever intervening in late-term abortion. And this may surprise you, but we can discuss it more, it also affects private entities. And most people are under the impression, the statute that was passed in 2019 says the state shall not interfere. And people will say, well, this is only about the state, and after all, like UVM has an ethics board. They won't do just elective, random third-term abortions. But in fact, a state constitution can require private entities to follow the constitutional limits. Either if
or lack of limits in this
or
case.
lack of limits, that's right. So I would anticipate one of the first lawsuits you would see, because lawsuits are what we'd have to challenge. any existing restrictions. First lawsuit you would see would be against UVMMC from somebody who wanted a late-term abortion, and UVM said, our ethics panel says no, and the person says, but that's unconstitutional to not give me that access. That'll be the first case. And under existing law around the country, other states have done exactly this, said, our Constitution is more protective than the federal Constitution, and we can apply it to private entities. So this kind of balderdash about, well, UVM doesn't do those. Well, first of all, UVM could change its mind. Secondly, other providers could come to the state. And the state could not put any limitations on under Article 22. But third, these private entities can also be subjected to. The constitutional requirement of unrestricted access.
That is very interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. And it is really, you're right, a constitutional amendment is very serious thing, and
it's a big deal.
It's pervasive. Yes,
it's a big. Big deal, and it came.
And to have this loose language be so important is so.
The legislature during COVID. There wasn't even the kind of discussion among legislators that would normally happen. And yet here we are amending our Constitution, throwing in a totally unheard of prior, men are also included. How does that compete?
This could actually backfire.
It could backfire in a big way. Turning it over to the courts, and it could.
And when you talk about children, the wording refers to individual, and there's no age limit here. Can you talk about that a little bit? I mean, that's another wide open piece here. Individuals' right.
And I don't want to get too much into legal weeds, but the fact is, if you get into the legal weeds, it actually is pretty clear that it includes children, because there was an amendment to the Constitution a few decades ago about deliberately changing men, as it used to say, into non-discriminate, inclusive language, but that explicitly did not, if you changed it to person, it explicitly did not change the substance. So men, well, that's adults. So changing it to person explicitly does not open it beyond adult.
Good night, Daddy. Yeah.
They didn't choose person. They didn't use the word that's in all the rest of the Constitution. They chose individual.
That's interesting.
Which is not subject to that interpretive label.
So if the state or an individual you know, I could imagine this could then go on to, you know, we hear a lot about, you know, transsexual surgeries on younger people or treatments. You know, would this erase the parental right to care for their child and delay such a decision on such kinds of things? I could imagine that it would.
Well, I'm going to give you the answer that Representative Pugh gave to those questions on the floor. We leave that to the courts to decide. So, are there limits on what somebody can consent to? Yes, you have to have capacity to consent. You have capacity at 14. That will be up to the courts to determine.
Under surgery in their teens and regretted it. The havoc it wreaked on their bodies was immeasurable, and they made those decisions. In those cases, the physicians and the parents must have gone along with it, but it was a regrettable decision.
Well, and the other, one of the other problematic aspects, I continue to think that late-term abortion is the number one thing that people are not aware and would not want. But one of the other problematic aspects is around conscience protection, and a lot of people think that that exists. Vermont's one of only 2 states that do not have any law on conscience protection. So you could be faced as a nurse at a hospital with the choice, I lose protection conscience. I don't want to bring children who do not have.
Okay, there we go. I think everything froze, but nice audio cut out. There. Okay, so what do I go from here?
Frogs in Minecraft are evolving and have crazy powers. If I collect them all, they might just be able to beat the game for me. Hello, sheepy boy. You seen any frogs around here? Hold on, do I craft the frog? Oh, I see. So this tells me where to find and hatch the frog egg and what their powers are. The sunflower frog. That looks easy to get. Just gotta break some flowers. Oh, there it is. We got ourselves a sunflower frog spawn. Oh, you can even see him in there. He's so cute. All right, froggy boy. Oh, wait, hold on. Not happy. I'm so sorry. I gotta plant him right under the sunflower. You happy now, buddy? Hey! Oh, my God!
Okay. Oh, no. Finish.
So abortions in the second trimester and beyond, which are exceptionally rare, and make up less than 10% of all abortions that take place in the United States, can be done in one of two ways. One is an induction abortion, which is similar to a labor induction having a vaginal birth, and then the other is through a dilation and extraction or evacuation procedure, which is a surgical procedure. In the induction process, above viability in the circumstances in which those abortions take place, almost exclusively all providers will administer a feticidal injection ahead of time. So they will inject something into the pregnancy or the fetus to stop the heartbeat prior to the induction taking place, so that the fetus dies on the inside prior to being delivered. In a dilation and evacuation, the medical surgical procedure, oftentimes what happens is the umbilical cord is clamped and transected prior to the procedure starting, so again, effectively stopping the heartbeat of the fetus before any further action is taken. There are some regulations in that, I don't know if Brent has some about the Partial Birth Abortion Act, which is from U.S. Congressional Act, which has specific stipulations that requires that we all abide by that, so that the scenario that you're describing, where a fetus may be born partially alive, does not take place, and then exterminated, would not take place. And so there are very specific guidelines that we all follow in our clinical practices to ensure that that does not happen.
Okay, no, just turn this